they still, then they just seemed to fall apart. There was, especially against Xenix, they just got, it seemed like outclassed, but we know that's not what MNM were. It's just that they didn't have that coherency there. So we'll have to see what they can pick up in this one. And straight away, the main one that I want to focus on here is the Lee Sin ban. They've done their homework. Demo has been going huge throughout the tournament on this champion, so not surprised to see that one banned away. And we were also chatting back and forth a little bit about Camilla's, taking away that Karma pick from him as well, because he's seen great success in that, and they've prioritized it quite heavily in their pick ban, even picking over like the likes of the Zyra and the Malzahar as well. So could be something that they decide to pick up for Hado in the bottom lane, or just get rid of it completely.
Yeah, we do see there the bans coming in there. Malzahar and Lee Sin going to be banned out, as well as the Kazakhs. Very, very interesting little ban there. The Camille de LeBlanc again. They're gonna kind of have to ban the Rengar right now. You can't let Furion Anna, and there it is. Talked about it before. Red side, you gotta ban those three. What do they give up? What do MNM prioritize right now? We've talked about it a little bit before in the past. Charlie T's champion pool is incredibly shallow. It's a puddle of champions right now. I think you don't leave him out of the first rotation of picks. Maybe not first pick, but you definitely pick him up at least third, if not. Because if you leave it go to that last last two picks, it's just not a good place when you get banned out and they could really focus them out. But the Rek'Sai going to be locked in for MNM. Yeah,
I like the Rek'Sai pickup, but I think what the style that seems to be coming out of demo is this high, like, carry. It's a damage-orientated jungler. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of the Graves being picked up here in this rotation. Now, they're going to get the Ashe themselves. It makes a lot of sense. Ashe, the big priority. We've seen it countless times, first pick on the red side. So not surprised to see that through, but I think they need to pick up the jungler in this situation, and then you swap over and pick up Charlie T here for the mid lane, and try and get an answer for it in your final your final pick even coming out from Cyclone Gaming, because as you were saying, if you put more of a pinch onto the mid lane, that's really going to hurt Charlie T. And actually it's going to be the Hecarim, so we'll probably see this Triforce Hecarim coming through. Still has a little bit of damage, but we'll have to see how Demo does work on it, because he has had these like nice engages with the Lee Sin using the insect and stuff like that, so could end up seeing as something similar, just that nice engage and just pulling the trigger to get them in there.
Yeah, I like the Hecarim way of doing an insect. It's run past them with the onslaught of shadows and then just go back. It's like the Hecarim way of doing it. They lock in the Zyra though on the side of MNM to try and deal with that, and I think it's a very smart pickup as well, because the CC, the control you get as well. However, you can't pick up the more misfortune on the side of Cyclone Gaming. We saw how well that worked against Pariah. Now, obviously, two different teams, two different setups, but Charlie T, I think you have to pick up his mid laner right now. If you do not pick up that mid laner, you're really putting yourself in a pinch, and they don't. They lock in the Varus. Cyclone Gaming, given an opportunity to really focus him out.
Okay, so basically what they want is their bottom lane to be the main focus here. They want to get them on two carries that they're comfortable, or two champions, sorry, that they're comfortable on. And Hado has shown that he's capable of carrying on the Zyra. He's had very, very strong performances on this champion coming up in the earlier stages of this tournament. So I'm glad to see him back on something like this where he has that capability, because the poke he's capable of putting out is very, very high. And that's what I was actually going to say, is that yes, the MF is available, but we've seen them countless times fall back to this Karma. So it was kind of taking a gamble going, look, we know it's available, but there's more than likely you're going to go back to the Karma, which doesn't do too poorly into the Zyra. Yeah, she kind of gets outrange, but there's still play there. You're still capable of doing it. But now you can see, as you were saying, Charlie T hasn't got anything for himself, instantly banning towards that mid lane.
That's the thing, that they can force him back onto the Corki. We saw him last week literally do nothing. It was like let's just call a spade a spade. He did absolutely nothing on that champion. Was being out CS, was being out, you know, picked and farmed. And actually the Kayle, we didn't actually touch on this at all. The Kayle made it through the first rotation of bans right up until that point. Echo being banned out, I feel like that's a direct hit on the Charlie team. Yeah,
it most certainly is, and that's what we were talking about already. And I think, yeah, you gotta look at that Kayle, because this has been banned consistently against Cyclone.
100% pick, 100% ban rate against Cyclone.
Exactly. So to see that even get through to the second phase is interesting, but I think it's again smart play coming out from MNM. Pinch the jungle, force the jungle pick, force the AD carry pick, and force the support. They had to answer with these, and that means that then they have to come back at this. But Corki ban, a little bit interesting.
I don't like that at all. I think Charlie T, if anything, has just limited himself, or his team have limited him even to an even smaller champion pool. Like, what has he got left right now? Like, I honestly expect Cyclone to pick maybe a Syndra into this, or the Orianna even better. They might pick up the Syndra for MNM, but I just... Ugh.
But I
Not
don't
quite sure.
understand. Yeah, why?
Why they don't play it on Cyclone?
But why not get rid of the Darius? We were talking about how he's gone, like, the top laner for Cyclone has gone off from the Darius previously when he wasn't given the Kayle, and I don't understand why you need to ban the Corki. It's not the top priority in the mid at the moment. Yeah, it's good, but there's so much more that you can answer with. And I was about to say, you still have the likes of Syndra available, who does particularly well into Corki because you just get the stun and then you can melt him in lane. He can't push up far enough, and you have an answer for that wave clear as well. Yes, you can be a bit slow in the rotations and stuff like that, but are trying to match him as he's trying to leave. But even then, it's just an odd ban.
Throw away ban?
I don't know. I don't think you want to throw away bans as MNM, particularly after last week. I think you need to start picking up those extra games just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, we are going to see a lot of balls in the mid lane as Orianna and Syndra are picked up. Shen going to be the last ban, get that global presence with that Stand United and the teleport, being able to do pretty much be in two places at the same time, effectively. Let's see what they want to pick up now for Cyclone. Do they go with the Darius? Do they feel confident enough in the side of Kerberos to actually go with this one? Because it's still a hard lane and it might actually be locked in. I feel he is confident enough and he's going to lock that one in.
Yeah, and it's actually not bad. I mean, it does have that early pressure which can kind of keep the Shen out of lane, and it means he's not as tanky, but also the fact that you have that CC, you can just walk up to the Shen and hook him as he's trying to get that TP in, and then you've got all this damage to follow up on. The only thing is though, the Shen does have the block on your auto attacks, which means that then the Darius's W does nothing. It also means that he's capable of staying close to you, so then your Decimate doesn't do the damage that it needs either because you're not hitting with the axe. So you kind of it's not the best pick into it. I think it is just more Kerberos has played this so much and he seems very, very confident on it. I think that's more about getting him on something comfortable, because we've seen Tempo have huge games from him. Even when they weren't performing, he was the kind of the shining light for them. So I think that's just the case of, look, put him on something he's comfortable with. We can leave him there and just try and keep Tempo down, because if they let him get rolling, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and something I wanted to slightly bring up with the Darius play as well is that I've seen it so many times from streamers like Dyrus and so many other top lane streamers, is that, like, Boxbox does it as well, is that you wait for level 1 in the bush closest to your enemy laner. As soon as they go up, you go behind the caster minions and auto them. They don't aggro onto you because you're behind them. So you could get a huge amount of early damage just on top of your enemy opponent, because the early levels or the early bleed you get from your passive is massive, and you can really, really cause some horrible, horrible times for the enemy top laner if they go for that. But it's a little bit of a solo cute cheese.
Yeah, but I mean, he's played it enough. It's not like he doesn't know the tricks for this champion, and I mean, the advantages that he's gained for himself means that he knows knows exactly how to use them as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that come out, because there's no reason not to pull out every stop right now, particularly on the side of Cyclone Gaming. They've a lot to play for here. They can really start to set themselves up to try and push towards that third, second spot, particularly when MNM seemed like the most Look, coming into the tournament, we were expecting MNM to finish top 1-2. Yeah. And if they can beat these, that's really solidifying them, because we were talking about it previously. Some of the guys they were playing with before, actually, that's an interesting statistic.
Little Twitter interaction there. We put a vote to see who would win. A lot of the fans who would have been MNM fan favorites going up with Choke Gaming right now. MNM not feeling the love at all. And I got to ask your opinion as well. Who do you think is going to come out of this? We've seen the comps. What's your prediction?
I think it really does depend on... So basically what we've seen from MNM is win lane, use that... Game. Yeah, win lane, win game, win that, use those advantages to snowball. It's not picking champions that win the lane. It's just that they will win the lane through their superior talent, and then they'll do it that way. But I don't think they can have that rollover with Cyclone, and that's where it becomes interesting, because we saw it with Xenix, where if they are ever playing to the tune of someone else's fiddle, they fall apart. They need to be in the driving seat, and if it's an even game, it's a lot more difficult to get that foothold to try and get those advantages going. So I think it really does depend on how hard they can snowball in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the riff for Game 1 of this best of 2 between MNM Gaming and Cyclone Gaming. Let's see which side comes out with the thing, but we are going to see MNM looking for a little bit of a play in this bot side. They've got a good level 1. They haven't been spotted out just yet. This could be dangerous. Oh no, Karma. Ooh, that's a good move, but it's just not going to be enough. There's first blood going over to the Syndra. MNM go for the cheese. They get the first blood, and that is 500 gold going over. Good play.
And that's going to be a Doran ring picked up from that Syndra, and Charlie T already off to a fantastic start. He's going to be very, very happy with the way that one's gone, and at least none of the summers were blown to try and escape, but it's still not a good start for Cyclone Gaming.
Yeah, a little bit lazy from Camillus. He could have, he walked into the brush and then out of the brush. He could have just warded it and then backed away, but he kind of gave himself up and gave up the ghost a little bit early. But not to worry, Cyclone Gaming going to have to wash that one off. MNM, though, going to be thinking of that as momentum, and that's kind of what they do. We talked about how they take advantages and just move them from there. Already having that advantage in the mid lane is pretty huge.
Yeah, especially when we saw it, particularly around the week 1, where they were playing this style of Furion moving into the mid lane to gank, get that lane going, and then move down to the bottom side to push the...
Oh! Whoa! Hado! Okay. Oh, not expecting that coming into this, and already we see why they put such an emphasis onto this Karma, already putting out huge pain onto this bot lane of MNM.
Yeah, and when we were just saying they already had the advantage, to start throwing that away is not what you want already. They're going to hit that level 2 very soon as well, and just that damage is only going to get more.
Yeah, they're trying to go on top of it now, and there's Deadly taking so many hit points now. Latch and Camillus, so hard for them to really kind of get a kill onto this, but they're trying their best. They're trying to keep pushing up and keep the pressure onto them. I feel like there could be a kill in that bot lane very, very soon if someone on the side of MNM missteps.
We see, that's the thing. They don't even have to get the kill. If you can force them out of that early stage of the game, particularly when Deadly could be going for the new style that we're seeing coming out from the Varus, where you pick up that tier early. If you can just hold off on that tier, stop them going up towards the Yomus, stop them progressing into that kind of lethality build, you're going to get a massive advantage because he has to spend money on items that don't give him any offensive stats.
Very, very difficult to see as we see Charlie T just hits about a level 3 just before Matt. Again, so difficult to really do anything against this Syndra. Good harass. Matt does dodge out the thrown out ball. It's Charlie T. Again, a lot of pressure is on him right now. We talk about his weak champion pool, but he's gotten something that he can play. As we say, Furion does get spotted out by a ward. Everyone on the side of Cyclone backing away in that bot side, so just creating pressure. But they now have that information on the side, so what does Hecarim do?
Yeah, and just going back to that mid lane, the nice thing about having the extra Doran's ring there is that you're able to shove in this wave, and that's why you're seeing Syndra pushed up to the tower so much, is because she can spend the mana, because if Orianna answers, she still has more mana regen inherently because of the extra Doran's ring and because of the extra mana regen that gives you every time you kill a minion. Oh, Matt. But that just means that then you can see the difference. It's just that Matt is going to be burning through his mana trying to keep up with all this wave player that's coming through from the Syndra, and he's going to end up falling further behind, and eventually these are going to start burying into the tower, and that's where you're going to start seeing the CS advantage come from.
Oh, already 5 stacks of that move there. See, there's the W's you talked about, but so difficult to deal with this Darius, especially in the early lanes. We know he's a lane bully. We know he's the one who just kind of dunks everybody, but you got to be careful that you don't fall too far behind as well, because that could be a very scary situation, especially if you're trying to make global presence and he's just constantly hooking you back in to say, we're going to fight. Ooh. Oh, Matt, he's going to be so close. He flashes, but there was an auto attack on the way. Charlie T with 2 kills in this early game, and that is going to be a huge disappointment there for Cyclone, as they really needed this mid lane to go well.
Yeah, and you can instantly see Matt's like, I messed up. Picks up the Negatron cloak, thank you. I was going Shroud, it's not a kill, it's just no. But yeah, picking that up for himself, going up towards that Abyssal Scepter, he knows that he needs this magic resist in this lane, particularly when you've already got 2 kills, you've fallen behind on CS, nearly double the CS there advantage. It's just going from bad for worse.
We see Tiempo getting forced in, Latch and Camillus pushing in as much as they possibly can. They are pretty even though, the AD carries. Top lane has a little bit of advantage, mid lane has a significant advantage. Matt does have Cleanse, didn't actually use it to try and get away from the thing, but again, wouldn't have mattered much because he already had the damage done onto him.
Yeah, he might have been able to flash away just to get away from that last ball that was coming down on top of him and get away from the auto, but even then, it could even be that he's just wasn't thinking. Ooh.
Furion gets a nice knock up, double flash, nice synchronization as we see Hado getting stunned up. Latch does get hailed of arrowed, had to use the heal to stay alive from the piercing arrow. And that is a big move there for the side of MNM as they're really starting to up the tempo as we look at tempo.
Yeah, I just
saw you looking at me just like, really? Really?
That's all you can do right now. But no, I'm like, that's the thing, is just Gervos is having free reign in this lane right now. 10 CS advantage, but realistically, like with the health that he's made Tempo lose in this lane, it's just gonna get worse and worse. Particularly, you know, they still have the level 6 has just become available for Darius in this lane, but he gets offensive capability out of that. It's not the same when it comes to the Shen. He hits the level 6 point, and yes, he gains all this map pressure, but when you're shoved into your tower by the Darius and you're still losing health and losing out in these trades, that's where it really becomes a problem, because you can't use that pressure anywhere.
See, Matt, this is only a couple of CS. It is about a 600, 700 gold lead in favor of MNM. Small little lead, 2 kills. We see Demo just trying to get as much as he possibly can. He's got a hard farm, he's got the Sheen on his back pocket, so he's just trying to get to that Triforce as early as he possibly can.
Yeah, and that's... Ooh, hang on.
Oh, Matt, again, needs to be so careful with those situations, but as I say that there, we see Karma and Demo just going for a little bit of a harass. They're actually stealing jungle right now, which is a really smart play because Furion did use his flash, so he would have to back away if he did see the Hecarim, and they know he's up the top side. Yeah, and you can actually see that Demo, no, he hasn't been around the map, but he's picking up advantages in different ways. You can already see the CS advantage and the level advantage in favor of this Hecarim. He's already hit that level 6 point, and it's simply because of plays like this where he knows, great, Syndra's going to be going for the blue buff right now. I am free to go into this bottom side. Oh! Didn't see what happened there, but Charlie T picks himself up another kill, and it's just snowballing out of control for this, or in favor of this Syndra. And I feel like Demo is going to have a lot on his plate right now because he's got to try and deal with a very fed Syndra.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. If you try to help out in this lane, it's very easy. Careful.
So careful. Yeah. Charlie T is confident right now. Yeah. Charlie T has all 3 kills. Actually, this we call him Charlie 3.
Charlie 3.
Oh, yes. All 3 kills going in favor of him. It's so difficult for them to really do anything. The Orianna will scale, but Charlie T can now one-shot the Ashe, one-shot the Karma, and probably one-shot the Darius as well. So this is a really scary situation for the side of Cyclone.
And that's what I was going to say. If you try to answer for that as Demo, you're going to run into Furion, because if Furion gets a counter gank off, you instantly lose that. Get the double stun down, and then it's an easy knock up, and then there's just the AoE damage from Syndra would be enough to...
Oh, as I say that though, Furion might have been caught out. Doesn't know that Matt is there, has got the tremor sense, but will Matt go for it? Hasn't got flash. Will need the dissonance to kill him, and he does get it up. Furion, no flash, no tunnel available, but while that was all happening, we did see Syndra roaming up to the top side. Another flash auto attack. Charlie T is just having a fantastic game. However, they are giving up priority in this mid lane, so that's going to be a good bit of damage going over to this mid lane tower. It's not the worst thing in the world, but Charlie T is still getting huge.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Why is Furion in that jungle when Charlie T's roaming towards the top lane? You got to... Oh, hang on.
Oh, Matt does use the cleanse. They have got Shockwave available. There's the flash in. They're trying to go in on top of it. There is the ultimate as well from the Zyra, as everyone just coming in on top of it. Varus got a kill on the bot side as well as first kill. As we see now, the Darius goes in, gets a dunk, goes for another one. Will he get 2? He will get 2. It's going to be double dunk. Can he get another one? No! Not quite able to hit it. But now he's in a bit of a weird situation. If he can get one more ability off, he might be able to do something to Tempo. Never mind. He's going to take it away. Demo has to back away. Ashe died solo to the Varus on the bot side, so it ends up being 3 kills to 2 in favor of MNM, and they're really starting to ramp up the pressure. 4,000 gold almost.
Yeah, but I'm kind of questioning Furion's play here. He needs to go tanky. I don't know why he's going for the Tiamat here. When you've got a super fed Syndra, you've already got a lot of damage coming from your support, and of course, Varus is going to be doing a lot as well. You just want to be the follow-up engage after you've got the poke come through from the Zyra and the Varus. And so basically, the way this should be playing out is start sieging, Varus starts poking down, Zyra starts poking down, Charlie T gets the stun, and you just follow up on it. You just need to be able to tank these towers along with the Shen. So there's no reason for you to be going this damage style build. Just get as much armor and as much health as possible, and you'll be fine in this setup. But he's going for this, like the Tiamat, he's going for a little bit of a different build, but you can see here how quickly he melts. He knocks up Demo there, but he still ends up going down despite that. Like, he's just got nothing there. Demo picks up the kill. He's going to be the next to fall there. Getting the dunk onto Charlie T as well. And Hado is just able to make it out there, and then it's going to be the taunt coming through. Darius knew he had nowhere to run.
Yeah, very, very difficult now, but the problem is that Darius is... once you get those stacks, that's the problem you have right now, is that he is going to blow up anybody. And yes, Charlie T can do it as well, but it's no good if you're going to be dead already when it comes into the fight. So good play there from Kerberos as he tries to go in for a Furion, looking for Matt, doesn't quite get him. Gets a lot of harass back into his face though in return. And we wait to see now where everything starts to go. 30 CS though is the lead onto the 80 carry of MNM. Oh, Deadly gets caught out. There is the onslaught of shadows. Whoa, he uses the Q on the minion. Unfortunately, there is the ultimates as well. Flash and heal used. Deadly gets out with his life. But again, a little bit of a misplay. A rare misplay from Demo means that he does end up not going down.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. Might have, or should have been able to pick up the kill on the top side of the map, but you can see the rest. Oh, well, by I say the rest, I mean the jungler, but actually, never mind. A little bit of action down here.
A little bit. I see Kerbos and Tempo trying to go at each other now. There was a lot of bleed damage there onto Tempo Shen, but he had to keep shielding up. But again, so easy for him to soak up all that damage just purely because he has got the energy. He's not working off mana. He can keep going for these trades. And to be honest with you, with the Sunfire Cape, until we see Darius pick up that Black Cleaver, he's not really going to be able to go toe-to-toe with him.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm interested in seeing is if they can go toe-to-toe in this mid lane, because if this tower goes down, that opens up the map so much. It's so easy for Furion to get into the jungle, especially when he's got that tremor sense. He'll be able to spot out the likes of Matt and Demo in their own jungle, and he can play around that, start letting his top lane know that you're capable of diving this, and he can move up very quickly with that Syndra. Syndra, particularly with Latch at that health, just needs to ult and she's going to go down. Yeah,
that top lane turret though will go down instead. MNM picking themselves up 2 quick and early, 3 potentially quick and early turrets. All the outers gone down now. Not quite, but a slight breeze in the next wave will pretty much do it. As Furion finds himself caught again. Ash Arrow lands as they're going to be able to maybe push for this. Flash used, exhaust used. And there's going to be more backing away. Charlie T trying to get something off of this now himself. He does see Demo. Maybe he goes for something. Not quite able to land the stun. And Demo will get out with his life. But again, small little things. Furion, again, not really with his team. And that could actually be a big problem for them coming into this. As we see more and more pressure. They will get that mid turret, though.
Yeah, you can kind of see that Furion and Charlie T aren't on the same page when it comes to these things. Furion goes for the invade in the blue buff, right as Charlie T goes to top lane. Furion goes invade in the red buff, right as Charlie T's trying to hang around to get that mid lane turret. Just hold off for, you know, 10-15 seconds, make sure that then the Hecarim isn't able to take it, but it means you get the mid lane turret and then you can go in as a group and take the buffs away from Demo. But they just don't seem to be coordinating quite as they should. But they're okay simply because they have the lead, but they need to be more careful.
Yeah, Furion could be, we saw this actually from Cyclone against XL, just kind of small advantages that they were picking up just purely from the fact that one player on the side of XL in week 1 was just out of position, was just getting caught. And that's something they need to be very, very careful of, because if they catch Furion, there's a lot of things they lose from that. Yes, Charlie T is fed. Yes, Deadly is pretty huge over his counterpart, but you need that knock-up. You need that guaranteed CC with the Flash on Burrow to be able to set up these team fights the way you want them, to make sure that the Syndra and the Varus get exactly what they need.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll have to see if they are going to be able to do that. You can see them already moving down towards this dragon, trying to pick it up for themselves. It is a Cloud Drake, which would be nice to start moving around this map, trying to out-rotate, particularly, you know, as you've got that outer layer of towers down, rotating through the jungle becomes such a big play. You can already see they're trying to get control of the vision, just so they can start choking out the likes of Cyclone here, so they don't know where they're rotating. And that Cloud Drake wouldn't be a bad idea, because you're going to be running very fast back and forth between the bottom lane and the mid lane, so having that extra bit of move speed would help.
They're not even going for it right now. They're prioritizing the pressure on this bot lane, but everybody is here. There's no movement. The Demo stayed very, very still and very, very silent. There's the arrow off the backside, flashing the way the Hado, as we see Furion does get the stand united. There is a good onslaught of shadows. I don't know if it was intentional the wrong way. Flash into the taunt means that Latch gets caught out and blown up. Charlie T picking himself up another kill. That's 5 for him, as everyone inside of MNM pushes onto this. Matt nowhere to be seen. They're going to lose their first tier 2. This is 15 minutes in, and MNM are decimating this Cyclone squad.
Yeah, and this was it. It's after that Asho's miss, you need to back up, you need to reset, just clear waves at your turret. I mean, you've got enough there. You've got the Karma, you've got the Ashe, and you've got the Darius for anything that manages to hit the turret. So it's not like you can't clear these waves when they hit your turrets. And if you don't have the engage there ready to go, as actually you might be an engage coming through here for MNM, then you just got to back off. But MNM have no intentions of backing away from this one.
And they have no intentions. They do get another tier 2. That is 2 tier 2s down now. Top lane the only one going. But again, top lane's pushing in for it. This is a perfect rotation coming in from MNM. They're just going to be able to walk up to that demo, trying to force this back as quick as he possibly can. But he might be in a little bit of trouble. Has no Onslaught of Shadows available to him. Doesn't get caught up just yet. But that's just more and more chip damage coming down. Can they catch something out? They have got Flash and Heal on demo. Or sorry, on Deadly. They are going to be back away. But again, great. Literally from bot to mid to top. Unbelievably crisp and clean rotations from MNM. Like you said in the pregame, they see advantages, they get advantages, and they just completely rotate you off the map.
Yeah, but that was the thing. Like, Matt and Latch both haven't moved from mid lane since that play started. They were just like, all right, the 3 would take it. Oh, Charlie T.
Oh, he's going to get it. There it is. Oh, there's the Ashe arrow, though, but nothing going to be able to follow it from it. Does pop Ghost on Charlie T just to make sure, but again, I feel Charlie T is just having fun right now.
Yeah, they can't even get an advantage off that. The rest of his team is in base. He was literally just doing that to go, this is what I can do if I want to. Just keep that in mind next time you come near me. But we'll have to see what they do decide to set up here. That's the thing. They can't even pressure Barret. It's far too early for that. So we're just going to see them try and roam up towards this top lane, try and clear out the vision, and just really go for this tower dive, particularly if they're going to be so late on the rotations coming out from Cyclone Gaming. It'll be very easy to go about that. But MNM look like they're going to set their sights on this dragon first, just picking it up so that then they can probably transfer it off to the next one, maybe get the likes of a Mountain Drake or Infernal, which would really help snowball their lead.
Yeah, it's a Cloud Drake, so not really something that's going to be able to overly help them. I like, though, when you get 3 Cloud Drakes and it's just like a crazy amount of kind of, movement speed, and it's going to be double Cloud Drake for MNM, unfortunately, if they go for it. But this is kind of the only silver lining right now for Cyclone, because they are just being outplayed. MNM playing fantastically well, and we asked which MNM will be arriving into this game, and we now know it is the one that will literally bring every single game to you. As I said, at Charlie T, he does get the Stand United on top of him immediately. Does use the old demo, trying to go into it. That's a great W from Tempo as they turn around this fight. There's just too early on the ultimate from Kerbos as he finally gets a kill. He's going to have to back away, though. I feel like he hasn't really got the damage to really go against Shen. It's going to be a long, gruesome, and eventual death. No assist, though, for Addo. It's a 2-for-1. Not quite sure what they expected there, knowing that Stand United was up.
Yeah, really nice play coming in from Tempo to help out his mid laner Charlie T. And just, you could see Charlie T hovering around that area where he wasn't able to get auto-attack, couldn't stack the bleed stacks, and then he was able to survive that little bit longer. But no reason for Haddo to be in that top lane. You need to be shoving in that mid lane with your Varus, so Shen, when he collects that wave, can move it in towards this turret. You then rotate back up to take this top lane turret. I mean, it's going to work out, but you could have put so much more pressure down onto that inhib turret in the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the last tier 2 going down for Cyclone, they haven't picked up a single tier 1, and they are all exceptionally healthy, apart from maybe mid lane. But this is just a decimation right now. As you see, 11,000 gold. Flash from Deadly means he just about gets away, but he's got the support of Furion and Haddo as everyone's starting to pile in now. There's the Stranglethorns coming out. Deadly gets a return on the kill. Exhaust went down onto the Darius as they still ensue the fight. Furion getting a little bit caught up, does flash in, gets on top of Matt, and here comes Tempo as everyone on the side of Cyclone is going down. It's going to be a little bit of a kind of consolation kills. We see Haddo, Kerbos maybe going for it, not quite though. Varus just doing too much for him there. We did see Latch going down to Charlie T on the backside of that as well, and we could probably see a pre-20-minute inhibitor going down.
We actually might even see 2. They can take this one. You can see already Deadly still pushing in that top side. So, oh, no, never mind. He's decided against it. But yeah, it will be the inhib going down most certainly for MNM in this one. And there's very little that they can do. I mean, they used the majority of the ults that were available in that fight. Oh, but the Onslaught of Shadows.
Onslaught of Shadows picks up Haddo. Deadly is available. He's trying to get away. They're trying to kite him back, but there's just no support from his team. He is a beast right now. It's 16 kills to 6. It's a 12,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. 1 dragon to none, 7 turrets to none. And this is just a decimation.
Yeah, you know it's bad when the Syndra has a Rabadon's death cap at 20 minutes into the game.
With a Morellos.
With the Morellos. It's just, yeah, it's just going from bad to worse. And that's the thing. MNM are just completely in the driver's seat now. There's very little that Cyclone can actually do to try and get back into this now. I mean, they're so far behind, and super minions pushing through into the middle is actually incredibly difficult to deal with this early in the game as well. You can see Latch and the Karma here are forced to just continue pushing, and they're being forced all the way back into their base. The minions can't survive it. Like, look how long it takes her to take down that super minion. But that just gives MNM all the free time in the world to shove down this mid lane, move back towards the Baron, get down that vision, but also start rotating through the jungle and just picking off people with Charlie T, with Zyra, and just making these plays happen. And Demo is on the wrong side of the jungle that he wants to be right now.
Yeah, he's trying to run away. Furion doesn't know where he is. No one on the side of MNM know where he is, and they're just clearing vision, setting up for this Baron that's only a minute and a half old. He's only a baby. Don't be doing this to poor Baron right now. He's only a baby. As Demo, being a ninja, knows that he has to stay silent and stay away from everybody on the side of MNM, because he's only just picked up his Triforce, hasn't got any tank sacks whatsoever, going towards that Cinderhulk if he can. But it's going to be a 1-3-1 coming out from MNM. They send Syndra up to the top side because no one can 1v1 her right now. Send Shen to the bot side again, no one can 1v1 him. And it's just not looking good. But I want to ask you, how do MNM end this game? Because we've seen it before where teams get huge leads and they don't know how to end it. How do they end it?
I think this is what they need to do, but instead of going with a 1-3-1, you need to go 3-1-1. You want to stick someone in that mid lane to start pushing that wave in, so then it's constantly being pressured. And that means that then when someone goes back to deal, you've got numbers somewhere, whether it's in the top lane, whether it's in the bottom lane. And don't forget, you still have tempo with that Shen ult, so if you need to go for a dive at any point in time, even if he gets stopped by Darius, he's still going to be able to give that shield to just allow Furion to be that tank as he goes for the dive. So wouldn't be surprised to see that come through, but this is a bit of a slugfest going on between Tempo and the Darius here.
Yeah, we actually see two very interesting items. The Zizurot for the Shen and the Righteous Glory for the Darius. But while this is happening, we see MNM starting the Baron on the mini-maps. This is actually just a big distraction right now. And while that went down, they get the kill. They get the Baron. Nothing they can do. And this is how they end the game in Tempo. I think he can take this. There's nothing Matt can do. Matt, you have no damage. You have an Abyssal Scepter. What are you going to do here? You cleanse, but for what reason? Tempo 2v1 comes out with a double kill. And this Shen is massive.
You're not only 1-5, you had no mana going into that. That was a terrible idea to start fighting this. He's got the Zerot portal there and a whole bunch of health on top of it. He can take your auto attacks all day. And it's just, this is so, like, they just don't seem to be understanding where they need to be at points in time. Now, I can forgive them for the Baron because it's just smart play by MNM coming out. They went in, cleared out the vision, and you could see Camillus was trying to get in to get that vision, but he can't even push in up to the red buff. They barely get any vision in their jungle before the Baron's gone.
24 minutes in, 2 inhibitors down, and honestly, Baron buff with MNM, they can push in for the win if they really want to. Charlie T, 8-2-4, 3-0-3 for Varus. The unsung carry as well as deadly, keeping himself safe, making himself such a nuisance going into these fights. And as I say that though, Karma gets caught up, as does the Darius, and this could be the final fight as we get a 3-man knockup, but it's denied! There is the shockwave, but I don't think it's just going to be enough. 2 kills in favor of MNM. They nearly, never mind, they do get a third double kill for the Syndra, and that's going to be Charlie T. Everyone said dive the fountain, but they didn't. And that's going to be the inhibitor going down, the Nexus turrets going down, and the Nexus of Game 1 going over to MNM in probably the most convincing fashion we've seen from them in a little bit.
Yeah, MNM just obliterating any doubts that people had about who was going to show up. I mean, Charlie T going big, especially from this play right here. He picks up the kill and instantly back with the Dorans and then pushing consistently, and then he's just picking up kill after kill. Matt has the cleanse available there, doesn't get anything. And
cleanse and flash.
But that's the thing, we were seeing that time and time and time again. He just wasn't using anything that was available to him, or just even fighting in the bottom lane was against the Shen when you have no mana. Just, you can see the tilt literally happening in front of you, and they gotta fix this if they want to come into that game too. I think if you keep Charlie T down, as we were saying, start banning out these champions, getting rid of the mid lane picks. Instead of going for these weird bans on other lanes, just focus on something, get them off the map, and then maybe we can see Cyclone going for a different kind of game, because they looked so good for a while. You could see Demo had that big advantage over his counterpart in the jungle, but they just weren't able to utilize it because they were so far behind in the mid lane.
Yeah, Furion, like I said, it wasn't all doom and gloom, but for Cyclone, it just fell away from them far too quickly. It really, really did. And this is Tempo getting the Baron buff, getting a kill, and it was like, oh, Matt, you have no mana whatsoever. I don't understand what Matt was hoping to do here. It was like, I'm going to cleanse, I'm going to flash, and going to die.
Look at the moves! What was that?
Yeah, it was just like, look at me go! I'm dead in a second. But again, that was a great game coming out from MNM. That's the MNM